All right, so we talked about on the podcast last night about Brock Bowers and his injury, but we did not know that they were going to announce today he was going to need surgery and miss 4 to 6 weeks. So I want to expound upon some of the thoughts we had last night and tell Georgia fans why the sky is not falling, and you should still feel very, very confident and optimistic finishing out the year. Now, what are you losing when you lose Brock Bowers? Well, the obvious, right? You're losing the best offensive player on your team, maybe in the country, maybe the best player in the country, maybe the best tight end in college football history. Those are not embellishments. Those are real things. He is an all-world type talent, so it is obviously going to sting. It's not just the fact that he's led you in receptions and receiving yards in his first 2+ years. It's the fact that he's had 29 touchdowns, 24 receiving touchdowns, and they've come when it matters most. 11 of his 20 receiving touchdowns the last 2 seasons came in after the month of November. 5 touchdowns in 6 games in the postseason, in the playoff and the SEC championship games over the last 2 years. 60% of his receptions go for first downs or more. He has been incredible since he stepped foot on campus day one in Athens. Now, that's what you're losing with Brock Bowers. However, reasons to be optimistic. Kirby, this will shock you, has recruited extremely well specifically at this position. They have done an incredible job of amassing talent at the tight end position in Athens. They have 3 guys behind Brock Bowers, a little bit banged up, but all 4-star recruits, all top 100 recruits. Oscar Delp was the number 1 tight end in the country coming out of high school. Lawson Lucky was incredible in the spring game, and he's coming back off injury. Ironically enough, the same injury that Bowers has. So they're young, but they are extremely talented. 2 freshmen and 1 sophomore. Now, speaking to that point, Georgia also does something better than any other team in the country. So they will not be hampered as badly when they lose a star player. That sounds familiar? Think about Alabama in the national championship a couple years back when they lost Jamison Williams and John Mechie. There was no one else on that team that apparently knew how to catch a pass. So you put all this stock into not developing any of the guys behind them, and you saw how that played out. Georgia has done a tremendous job of not doing that. In 5 of their 7 games this year, a minimum of 10 different players have caught at least 1 pass. In all 7, they've had at least 8 or more. They distribute the football better than any other team in the country, so everyone is going to be involved. Now, that being said, I look for what Bobo's going to do. Is there someone that's going to step up in his place? Because you're losing a guy that's huge on third downs. He's huge in the red zone, and I don't think the distribution is just going to go to the tight ends. Are we going to see someone like Arian Smith step up? Are we going to see one of the transfer receivers that has come on late in the last few weeks? Are they going to get more of the bulk of the receptions? I don't know. But I will tell you this, the last reason why you should not be that concerned, I know that the schedule has been just harped on about how weak it is, and Georgia fans are tired of hearing it. But in this case, it's a positive because the schedule is weak, and even though you're going into the toughest part of the schedule, you have a couple of ranked opponents on there, Mizzou, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Talking about in those 5 games, you have only 1 team with a scoring defense inside of the top 30. You talk about their pass defense, only 2 are in the top 30 there, with an average rank of 59th in the country in pass yards allowed, and then yards per attempt, because Carson Beck has been phenomenal at chunk plays all season. Their last 5 opponents average 83rd nationally, and all 5 of them, or 4 of the 5 of them, are outside of the top 50 in yards per pass attempt allowed. The schedule gets tougher because there's a number next to those names. It's a ranked opponent, but Georgia should be fine. They will finish the season undefeated before they get to Atlanta.